All right, let's dive right in. Today we're talking about a really powerful idea, especially for anyone navigating cancer treatment. It's a concept that completely flips the script on what we think of as exercise. It suggests that these small, super simple movements can be a huge tool in creating an environment inside your body that's, well, just less friendly to cancer. Look, one of the biggest, toughest hurdles during treatment is that deep down exhaustion, right? The very idea of a 30-minute workout can feel absolutely impossible. But what if the answer isn't a long, grueling workout at all? What if just 10 squats scattered throughout your day could actually make a real, measurable metabolic difference? That's the powerful idea we're going to unpack. So to really get why this works, we first have to look at a hidden weakness that a lot of cancers share. It's a metabolic issue, and it's one we can actually use to our advantage. This brings us to something called the Warburg effect. Now, in plain English, a lot of cancer cells have a massive sweet tooth. They basically become these sugar-guzzling machines to get the fuel they need to grow and divide so quickly. And that intense dependency on sugar, that's a key vulnerability we can target. And it's not just about the sugar itself. It's also about the hormone that manages it, insulin. Think of it this way. High levels of insulin can act like fertilizer for certain tumors. It's even been linked to a higher risk of recurrence in several common cancers. The real challenge here is that cancer treatments themselves can make your body resistant to insulin, which just creates this really tough cycle. Okay, so that's the problem. How do we fight this? How do we lower our blood sugar and our insulin without totally exhausting ourselves? Well, the solution is beautifully simple and kind of counterintuitive. It's called the exercise snack. I want you to just forget that all or nothing mindset of having to do a single long workout. Exercise snacking is all about breaking up your movement into tiny, manageable bites all through the day. So it's not about trying to find a 30-minute block of time. It's about using just 1 or 2 minutes again and again. And this is where the science gets really, really cool. How can such tiny efforts possibly have a big impact? Well, it's because they tap into a kind of secret pathway your body already has for dealing with sugar. Here's the magic trick. When your muscles contract, when you move them, they can pull sugar straight out of your bloodstream. Think of it like a VIP backdoor entrance for glucose that completely bypasses the normal front door that's controlled by insulin. This is an absolute game changer, especially if your body is struggling with insulin resistance. Let's break that down step by step. First, you do a squat, you flex a muscle, that sends a signal. Then, these little things called glucose gates, or GLUT4 transporters, they move up to the surface of the muscle cell. They literally open up, grab sugar from your blood to use for fuel right away, and boom, your blood sugar level drops. It's that direct. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This quote from Dr. Daniel Thomas puts it perfectly. Exercise snacks bypass the broken insulin pathway entirely, creating a direct route for glucose disposal. It's not just a small workaround, it's a completely separate highway for sugar that works even when the main insulin route is all jammed up. So you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great in theory, but does the science really back this up? And the answer is a huge yes. Actually, the results are pretty mind-blowing. Let's look at the data. Studies show this so clearly. Look at this chart. Sitting all day, that leads to the highest blood sugar spikes. No surprise there. A single 30-minute walk? Yeah, that definitely helps. But now look at that third bar. Frequent short little activity breaks, they have the biggest impact by far. They lower blood sugar much more effectively. It turns out spreading the movement out is actually better. And the best part? The benefit doesn't just stop when you stop the squat. After these little exercise snacks, your muscles are hungry to refill their energy tanks. They become like a sugar sponge, just soaking up glucose from your blood more effectively for hours, even up to 72 hours later. Each tiny snack creates this lasting effect of better metabolic health. Okay, so we've totally covered the why. Now let's get super practical. Let's build your toolkit that you can start using right now. First up, Protocol 1. It's the simplest. Just break up your sitting time. Set a timer on your phone for every 30 or 45 minutes. When it goes off, stand up and do 10 slow, controlled bodyweight squats. And that slow tempo is key. It's actually more effective. Remember, it's not about how many you do in a day. It's about how often you do them. Frequency is everything. Protocol 2 is all about strategic timing. The single most powerful time to do an exercise snack is within about 30 minutes of finishing a meal. This is your chance to head off that big blood sugar rush before it happens. You're basically matching the new supply of sugar from your food with a brand new demand from your muscles. It's perfect. But what about those days when you just can't stand up, or you're in an infusion, you're in a waiting room? Well, your body has a secret weapon for that too. It's a muscle deep in your calf called the soleus, and this thing is a metabolic superpower. It's unique because it can burn glucose for hours on end without getting tired. And that brings us to protocol 3, the seated option. While you're sitting, just keep your toes on the floor and lift your heels up and down. That's it. It's called a soleus push-up, and you can do hundreds of these over a few minutes without even breaking a sweat. It's the perfect, totally discreet tool for any time you're stuck in a chair. Now, don't underestimate this little movement. The research is absolutely stunning. One study found that doing these soleus push-ups could slash the post-meal glucose spike by, get this, 52%. 52! That is an incredible impact from such a simple, seated movement. So here it is, your whole plan at a glance. Break up sitting with 10 slow squats every so often. Do a few extra squats right after you eat. And whenever you're sitting for a while, just do some of those soleus push-ups. It's a simple, flexible plan you can adapt to whatever your energy level is on any given day. And here's the most important takeaway. None of these individual actions feel like a workout, right? But when you put them all together, these consistent little metabolic nudges really add up. They help create an internal environment with less sugar and less insulin, an environment that is fundamentally less supportive for how many cancers want to grow. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We always think of exercise as this big event that happens at a gym. But what if your most powerful, most accessible metabolic tool isn't a gym membership at all, but it's found in the small, simple breaks you choose to take all throughout your day?